Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Barkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for spirited and lighthearted discussion on whatever the moral or theme of their story is or was. This week, it's my turn. You guys ready? I've got a, dare I say, brilliant one.
Oh boy,
Wow.
Dare you say.
I would say Stephen King would be impressed.
Would
Okay.
Arthur Conan Doyle be impressed?
I mean, if he was alive, but he's not. So that's
Oh.
just weird. Why would you bring him up? He's dead.
When I think of the great literary people in history, he comes to mind.
You should. Sherlock Holmes is one of the greatest literary characters of all time. And my story is going to rival that.
Oh
Wow.
boy, let's back this train up. Toot toot.
I don't think it's a train sound.
Toot
Choo
toot.
choo.
Is that
She
better?
said- A little bit.
I did say toot toot instead of choo
Yeah,
choo.
that's not. I mean, I know we're not a train enthusiast podcast, but I still feel like some level of measure is required.
Yeah, we should probably get those little things correct.
Couldn't agree more.
The train whistles?
Yeah.
Yeah, well-
It's definitely not toot toot. It's definitely choot choot.
Yeah. As anybody who saw Murder on the Orient Express would know.
A mustache is important.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your one takeaway from that movie.
Yeah, that's what I got. You know, let's move past the train. Trains come to a station. No. This is how you make
Toot,
people leave.
toot,
This, we just got listeners. We don't need them running away. Calm down. Are you guys ready for my story? I think you're going to enjoy it. And when I say I think you're going to enjoy it, I'm totally trying to build it up to be better than it really is.
Really? Because 5 seconds ago you were telling us how brilliant it is and Stephen
That's-
King would be impressed.
Yeah, but I was lying.
No, yeah. Okay.
Much like Stephen King did when he said Maximum Overdrive was going to be a great movie.
That guy sucks.
No, the movie sucks. I mean, he's okay, but he definitely should never direct again. All right, are you guys ready for my story?
Lay it on me, Mr. King.
Okay. Heading for the door, Becky passed the full-length mirror in her hallway, catching her reflection. Damn, I look good today, she thought, as she pulled down her blue spring dress to more appropriately cover her upper thighs. Time to ramp up that professionalism. She was already running late for a meeting, but that didn't keep her from another round of applicator touch-up. A little more lipstick and she was out the door. The meeting was scheduled for 1, but it looks a bit more like 1:15. No big deal, Becky thought. It'll take the clients 15 minutes to decide what to eat anyway. She rounded a corner and caught a glimpse of herself in the Macy's window. The wind had caught her hair and wildly tossed it about. Becky broke out her phone and flipped the camera to herself, proceeding to address the hair with enough time to take a quick pic, which she promptly posted to Facebook with the caption, "Making late look great." Becky continued down the street. She was only a few minutes away now. She looked down at her watch, 1:17. Not that bad. She'll be there in ample time to handle business. As she rounded the final corner, Becky saw a new Tom Brady statue had been erected in front of the sports store. Knowing her boyfriend would love to see this, Becky ran over and cheesed a smile as she snapped a pic of her blowing air kisses at number 12. Becky heard some yelling in the distance. Must be some rowdy Patriots fans, she thought. She was now less than a block away, so she checked her watch again. 1:24. Still not too bad. Most people understand schedules are hectic in the fast-paced business world. As she neared the door to Maggie's, currently the hottest lunch ticket in town, Becky stopped to grab a quick selfie so she could subtly rub it in her friends' faces later on Instagram. Across the street, some woman was waving at Becky almost maniacally, which frightened Becky enough to quickly take the pic and swiftly enter the restaurant. Sorry, lady, no time for stalkers, she thought. Whew, sorry I'm late, guys. It's been a crazy day at the office already. Becky was launching with her standard excuses, and the clients wore frustrated smiles on their faces. As she sat down, she saw Mr. Chekhov had his Facebook open to Becky's account, which caused Becky to immediately regret her choice of words on that last post. That's okay. We're ready to order whenever you are. Sure, just give me a few to look over the menu. Isn't this place great? Becky enthusiastically replied, oblivious to the client's sour disposition at yet another delay. 20 minutes or so later, an officer entered Maggie's. After searching the area a bit, he approached Becky. Ma'am, a woman outside was just violently attacked and robbed at gunpoint. Did you see the perpetrator? The officer asked. A woman was? Oh, no, that's horrible. No, officer, I didn't see a thing. Why did you ask me? Becky's eyes danced around her clients' faces, ensuring they weren't getting too uncomfortable, which they were. Ma'am, the woman stated a lady in a blue dress witnessed the assault and then walked into this restaurant. In fact, she insisted this lady took a picture of the attack, which is all she could even remember of the event. Were you outside about 20 minutes ago taking a picture? Perhaps she took a photo of the attack without even realizing it. If you look out the window, you'll see the woman I'm speaking of. Becky peered through the window and saw the woman. It was the crazy waver. Oh, her? I'm sorry, officer. I had no idea she was being attacked. I did take a picture, but it wasn't of her. I'm so sorry. The clients began to allow their fake smiles to morph into clear disdain. The officer continued, Ma'am, perhaps you might not realize you caught a shot of the assailant. Can I ask what you were taking a picture of? Becky surveyed the room, immediately sensing the feeling of contempt growing. She sighed, took a deep breath, and replied, Myself.
She sucks.
What are you talking about? That's everybody.
It is.
You should be fired, though, right?
I don't know if I've seen anyone that bad with it, though.
This is metaphorical, maybe. Possibly.
Maybe, possibly.
It's
maybe it's
possible.
real.
You never know. What do you guys think the moral of that particular story is?
Everybody's too caught up in themselves these days.
Amanda?
If you only ever focus on yourself, you're going to miss everything else around you.
All very good. Stop being oblivious to the world around you.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Old man talk. Is that what's going on?
Oh, really? So let me ask you, if this was your friend that you ran into, do you know people like this? Come on, guys, be honest. Are you people like this?
I'm noted, Aaron, for not even having a Facebook account at all.
That is true.
He's noted because he just mentioned it. So he noted.
That's right.
He noted
In case
himself.
Try to find me. I'm not going to be on there. My Instagram account has 2 photos, neither of them of my face. So
you're pretty ugly.
Yes, I don't want to share it with. I'm doing everyone else a favor.
Amanda, are you one of these people?
Okay, so
No, I want to point out she didn't jump into this conversation very well.
I'm definitely the person who runs late a lot, but I always have guilt. I always do feel bad.
Oh, well, that makes it okay.
You feel so bad that you do it again the next time?
No, but this girl is like, oh, I can stop and do something else. I'm just late and I'm like, crap, I gotta hurry up and get ready because I'm already late. Now I need to hurry up and I need to try to get there. I certainly am not going to stop and take pictures of myself and make people wait even longer. And then if I got to the restaurant, I would probably just have them order myself, like figure out what I want to get as they're ordering their food. I wouldn't make them wait even longer. But I've definitely reoccurringly been the late person. So I don't know. And if I saw somebody waving, I wouldn't be so self-conceited that I'm like, oh, they must be stalking me. Oh my. And like put my hand over my forehead.
Well, I don't think I added that to the story.
You didn't, but that's how I imagined
like
it in
you're
my head.
Embellishing that just a little bit.
Might have.
I mean, that's how Stephen King would have written it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a monster came and ate everyone.
Well, the monster was a phone.
Oh, I think he did write that one. It's called Cell.
Sounds stupid. Just sounds stupid. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, but it happened in Maine, so everything crazy happens there. So let me ask you,
wait, what person are you?
I'm not that guy. I'm not saying I'll never take a selfie, but I'm not going to be late for it. And I prefer to see what I'm there to see. And I often see things and never take a picture. I've been yelled at many times for going to see something cool and not taking a picture of it. I just don't care. I'll remember it until I have Alzheimer's. And at that point, I won't care to remember it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't take pictures of anything either.
You could, even of, like, I guess if you saw something really, really beautiful or spectacular or something, you don't even after you've had your moment of enjoying it, you're not like, dang, I would really like to get a photo of this.
No.
To save for later.
Okay. Too often these days, my belief, people care more about the picture than they do the moment.
I will agree with that. I will definitely agree with that part.
Oh, you know what? Nudes, of course.
Yeah, but nobody sees your face in that. So it's okay.
That's right. I am everywhere on the internet.
Unless you're doing it wrong. Don't do that. That's bad. All right. So my first question in terms of this topic, and the topic, make no mistake, is selfies and the culture we're in today. Where do you stand on selfies as a whole in terms of when is it rude to take one?
Oh, I can jump in on this one. If you're with people and you're taking just a selfie of you, like you're out at lunch or something and you're taking a picture of yourself, that's weird. I'm sorry, but that's weird. If I'm sitting across from you and you pull out your phone to take a picture of yourself to like put on Snapchat or something, that's weird. I'm sorry. I cannot get past that. Now,
it's weird taking pictures of your food too, but everyone seems to do that.
I've been guilty of that too. Not so much at a restaurant, but when I make stuff at home, I've definitely taken pictures.
Both weird. I don't need to see anybody's meal.
Dude, sometimes it makes some good food. But anyway.
Or anyone's beer, or anyone's margarita, or anyone's poodle, or anyone's kids.
I do understand the idea of taking the picture of the food you cooked. You're proud of something you've accomplished a little bit. But then just send it to your friend. You don't need to tweet it.
Yeah, when it looks like it should be featured on a magazine, not when, hey, I made a slider with a side of cheese fries. What? That's not impressive.
In the world of Uber Eats and DoorDash and stuff like this, frozen meals, there's no reason to cook food. So if you take the time to actually cook a chicken parmesan, even something simple, I could see you being like, hey, you know what? I did something nobody else is really doing these days. I can see that.
Okay.
But again, it doesn't need to go on your Instagram with a black and white filter.
Well, also, why are you using a black and white filter for food?
Why do they use filters on Snapchat for everything? Unicorns and stuff flying out of your head. I don't understand what all this does.
But I will, back to my original point, I will say that it's not as weird if you're out with a group or you're out with some friends or something and you're doing an activity and you're like, I want to get a picture with these people, especially if you're not often out with them. And I feel like it's more of an inconvenience to a waiter or somebody else who's around to ask them to take a picture of me and my friends. Like, they have a job to do. So instead, I could just snap a photo with my friend real quick or something.
You know what? Shout out to the world real quick. Having been in the restaurant game for a couple of years, why? Why does everybody ask their server to take a picture of them? Is every meal so important that you need it documented?
Yes, apparently. The world needs to... There's so many people listening that do this that are getting mad right now. You guys just don't get it. Stop making fun of me. Hey,
you know what? Then email us. Love to hear your take.
Write the story that's the reverse to my story. Where it's amazing and it saves someone's life. You identified a murderer.
Wow. That's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, Zach? When is it too rude? Like, when is it no longer acceptable for you?
Do I take a selfie?
Mm-hmm.
It took until I started podcasting you put like a picture of myself as my profile online. So I really don't know if I can answer. Like, to me, all of it is silly. If you ever have the urge to take a picture of yourself, that is silly to me. I believe, and I'm not saying I haven't been guilty of taking, I've been on a run and taking a picture. Same thing, because you're proud that you did it or whatever. And then I do feel dumb quite frequently when I look back. I'm like, why did I take a picture of myself? I made that run like 18 times. The first time, okay, but number 17, what was special about that one? That I'm still alive? I don't know. And I don't do it every time, but as long as, in my mind, as long as you're not interfering with anyone else's life, it doesn't bother me. If I'm eating dinner and I have to move, or if I'm outside and I'm trying to enjoy time with my family or my friends, and I have to stop walking because you're trying to get a picture of something, or I have to, hey, excuse me, can you just move out of the way? No. I mean, this is a public street. Wait until be the polite person. You're the one trying to obstruct traffic. You can wait. You don't, that kind of stuff really, really bugs me. Especially if you go to like a theme park or anything like that, or an event or a concert. Everybody has their phones out taking pictures of every single thing that happens, because we know every step you take at a concert deserves to be documented. And every step you take at a theme park should be, the entire wait for Batman the Ride should definitely be documented. But they often will step right in front of you. You're trying to talk to your friends, or you're trying to take an actual picture of whatever it is,
and they get mad because they're trying to take a selfie. It's that kind of stuff really irks me. Like a selfie stick doesn't bother me unless it's affecting someone else's life. Affecting other people isn't cool for your documentation of your lifetime.
I got that. To your part about concerts too, after many years of not
and
having...
I don't mean that to knock anybody that does
No.
that. I mean, you paid your money, you do whatever. As long as you don't affect other people, I don't care.
Well, what I was going to say is after years of going to concerts where cell phones recording and taking pictures were not a thing, like lighters were still a thing, and now you can't go to a concert without not being able to see what's the show that's happening, because you have to actually look through people's phones and see what they're recording.
Drives me crazy.
And it took me a long time to realize how, like, I don't know, I just watched it kind of evolve over the years because I've gone to a lot of concerts, and it's gotten so bad that I'm like, I don't really even need to be here. Like, I would much rather, I've always been the person who's in the pit, who's further up to the front of the stage. Like, I like to be in that. I don't know if I'm just getting old or something now.
Thrashing about.
Yeah. But now I'm like, I'll just stand in the back where I can actually see, even if it's on like the cameras, then I can actually see what is being recorded. I can actually see the performers on stage versus having to look through your lens. So concerts it's huge. All people do is just record the whole thing. And how many times do you look back at that? Dude, I have so many videos that I've taken over the years. I am. And I've changed my ways after I realized how, like, I'm not going to use this stuff ever again.
She was shamed by you, Aaron.
No. This was a few years ago. I was like, this is just unnecessary.
I never say anything to anybody when they do it. It's just something I don't like, but to each their own. As long as you don't, the only thing I don't like is when you do it and you have this stupid freaking phone in front of my face while I'm trying to jam out to my Chris Isaac.
Because that's the only concert you ever go to.
That's the only concert I ever go to.
Or Rick Springfield, right?
Hey, or Rick Springfield. Maybe some Living Color. Somebody who's outdated.
Living Color.
And I'm trying to watch it, and then I have like a phone in front of me. I can't stand that. As long as you are doing it and it's only affecting you, that's your right. You paid your $100 or whatever stupid price.
Well, could you really even say at a concert that it's not affecting anybody else? Because it's bound to affect either the person next to you, the person behind you, possibly the person in front of you.
See, I don't feel like I'm good enough at that. I'm kind of like Zach is with the whole selfie concept. I don't think I can have an opinion on that because I don't like when people stand up during concerts. So I'm like, sit your ass down. I paid for a seat. I didn't pay to stand. I would have got a different seat for that.
Okay, well, let's say that you're in...
So I'm definitely the grumpy old man in this scenario.
Well, let's say that you're at a standing concert. It's all standing, general admission. No seats. When people have their phones recording it, or taking a picture or something like that.
Makes it too hard for people to see.
So then you would say that in most cases, even concerts where there's floor, it's too inconvenient to other people regardless.
I will tell you, I don't go to concerts anymore because of phones. That's the only reason I don't go. Because everybody has their phone up and I can't see half. And I'm tall. I'm 6 foot, man. I ain't short. So, and I'm sitting there trying to see the show that I paid for. And it's always like you say, hey, can you lower your phone or whatever you have to say? And they look at you like you did something wrong. And it's just not worth it to me. So it's like, hey, you paid your $100, you do whatever, but I'm not going to spend my money on this. I could see 27 movies.
Wow.
I could give that money to Smirk.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to pay us?
I could buy a Smirk t-shirt with that money.
You could.
A few of them.
What's that website name?
100 shirts for $100. How cheap do you think we're selling them? All right, so here's another question. Zach, you're a little bit more, I don't want to say cynical, but jaded to life. So why do you think selfies are so prominent these days? Honest answer, because I got a feeling it's going to be fun.
Well, I mean, is it not just for the endorphin rush people get from seeing a certain number of likes attached to something they put online? If you put a picture of yourself because your hair looks so good that day and then 12 people liked it, and then your friend put up a picture that day and only got 8, then you're like, oh, 4 more people were into me this day.
I mean, that's kind of it in a nutshell. People like themselves. Amanda, you have a different take. Because
do people really think about that?
Yes. You're telling me you don't?
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't even look at who's liked my pictures or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
I don't know.
I'll look at who's liked other people's pictures. Like, did you find this? You know what I mean? But I don't care about the number. Mm-hmm. I guess it's like a huge, I don't know. I guess I've never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being serious.
Hey, I totally believe you. I don't at all.
All right, well, that's fine. But I kind of am surprised by that. And I mean, I guess I could see how that would make, I don't know, why would you want to continue to put pictures out there then? Like, that would just, don't you have enough anxiety in life? You got to pay bills and stuff that you have to worry about who's liking your pictures. If I'm posting a picture, it's because I feel good about myself, or I'm with people that I like want to share and like look at how happy these people are with me, or like how happy I am with these people. Like, we got to share this moment together, and it's something exciting for me where I'm like, here, come join the fun of this party or something.
Okay, I got to stop you. The party thing. Okay, before we move on, the party thing drives me crazy. I have been to so many parties where you see the selfies the next day and you're like, that party was never that fun at any given point throughout the evening. Everybody's giving their best smiley face. Everybody's posing. They're hamming it up. Why do that? This is the bigger question. And I think it goes to what Zach's point is. Why do that? Why pretend you're having more fun than you actually are if it's not to get likes and to seem, if it's not for some kind of vanity reason? Amanda, you have the floor.
We'll allow you to have the floor.
Thank you so kindly.
Like, if we took a picture of us recording this podcast, it would be like, yay! Even though it's like, man, I wish the internet didn't work like ass.
I guess, and maybe my perspective is different. Maybe and I don't want to say I'm optimistic because I'm very rarely optimistic, but maybe I'm too optimistic about people's reasons. When you have people who genuinely seem to be enthusiastic and enjoy being in that photo with you, sometimes it's just fun to do that. I don't know. But
you don't disagree that it does happen. Like, you've been to these parties before.
For sure.
I see the pictures the next day and I almost fall down laughing. I'm like, I love these people. They're wonderful people, and I'm not speaking of anyone. It's every freaking party I've been to ever. And the next day you see these pictures and like, woo! 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 And I'm like, you didn't woo that entire night. Not one time was there a woo. There was no woo-hoo. There was no wah. There was nothing.
Do you think it makes, and I don't know what the reason would be, I guess, but do you think it just makes people getting into a photo makes them more enthusiastic, even if it's just for that moment? So people kind of get used to that, like, oh, this will get people interested in interacting and maybe engaging in a different way than verbal communication. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Like, you see somebody that you don't really talk to very often, but you're taking pictures with other people. So then you go to that person, you're like, hey, do you want to take a picture together? And then they get really enthusiastic, and now you've created this friendship. I've done that with people. And
yeah, that's a stretch for me.
Well, I would never be enthusiastic if somebody asked me to take a picture.
Zach's like, you just lost me as a friend.
I can attest to this because I've tried it.
What about you, Zach? Do you see, where do you stand in the party thing? Why do you think people do that? The same mentality?
Look, man, I don't go to a lot of parties, all right? So it's kind of hard to wrap my head around this idea. You want to make it seem like you're having a good time, but I don't know.
Maybe it depends on the people.
I don't know.
I would agree with that if I didn't see it at every single party I've ever been to. I mean, you go to parties where people are actually having that kind of fun. They're not taking pictures. I mean, they're having fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, I'm such an introvert that it's hard for me to even imagine these scenarios.
No, I understand.
I'm sure
I
you're
will
also
say, you know what? Whenever I've partied, the only time I really get taking a picture is when I'm already so drunk that it's a good thing they took the picture because I don't remember what happened anyway.
Huh. Well, I don't know when the selfie thing started, but it's been going for a while, and I'm definitely not making a criticism on it because we're all, except for Zach, apparently guilty of it. It's just sometimes I wonder, why is it so prominent now? Why do we need pictures of every single thing? And it's not for it's not like it used to be when we were kids or when I was a kid. I don't know about you guys, where you take pictures just so you can remember specific moments, a very important moment. People take pictures of I went to McDonald's today. Here's my selfie, getting my Big Mac. Cool, bro.
Well, but it could have been like the 2 for $5 deal, and that's pretty significant.
That is, you just saved like $4 probably.
I'm trying to go through my photos here and just to see if the last time I took a picture of myself, just take a picture of myself, it doesn't exist. So, and there are pictures of me, but they are of significant events like getting married, or a picture of me and my brothers because we see each other once every 3 years or so, or of when I went to E3, every year's biggest video game conference, and that's something I've been trying to do my entire life. So there's a picture of me there. But these things are separated by months or years. So I don't understand the selfie culture at all.
That makes sense. My favorite are celebrity selfies, because almost all of them appear to be, man, look at this random photo of me lounging in this specific spot with this specific pose. It's just so random.
I just happened to get captured next to this llama out of nowhere.
With a waterfall cascading behind me.
I love when people say, oh, my phone accidentally took this photo, but I decided to keep it anyway. LOL, might delete later.
Or when they're asleep and they're like, oh, I fell asleep and so took this picture, but it's like super close to their face. So you're like, you definitely took that picture with your eyes closed.
Also, Linda, I know you just live alone with your cat, so I don't think the cat took the photo.
God damn Linda.
Poor Linda.
Ah, she's so sad.
Putting Linda on blast tonight.
Do you think that and I'm not saying vast majority at all, more minority. Do you think there's a minority of people who do this because either they're lonely and it makes them look not so lonesome, and B, they're so afraid of death that they take photos. Whoa, wait.
I did not see that one coming.
No, that came out of nowhere.
Just wait. So that they're so afraid of death that they try to capture as many moments of their life as they can. Maybe because of loss of a loved one or something.
Sure, but come on. That's not the predominant factor. Come on.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was saying this is very minor. But do you think there are people
I'm talking overall, though, not mine. Yes, there are people that are sad, and there are people, but I think most sad, depressed people aren't taking pictures of themselves because they're sad and depressed.
Well, there are people who are so insecure with themselves that are more popular, if you will, and they take photos to try to hold up that reputation.
It's possible.
But they're really just lonely, sad people.
It's possible. Maybe there's a sad little puppy inside or something.
Death, but
I mean, you took it to a very dour,
I was just
dark
like,
place.
what could have started this? And then I was like, well, maybe people just.
I honestly believe Zach is correct. It started with the social media explosion.
Well, definitely, but why?
Because people put stuff on Twitter, they get whatever they put comments out there just so they can get hearts, and they put certain posts out there. I mean, I put posts on Facebook, and I always keep it very non-personal. It's always sarcastic, and trust me, if it gets 0, I'm like, well, I guess that wasn't funny. So yeah, people care about what the likes are. I guess I'll have to delete that one. That was offensive. Nobody liked that. People want to feel appreciated in some way, and social media is an immediate response to that. It's an immediate boost to your ego, and I don't say that in a negative way. It's an immediate boost to your ego, and if you put something out there and you let the world see it, you do look at that like count, and I think it would be disingenuous to imply that most people don't, because I think most people do look at that, even well-intentioned good people.
Speaking of Twitter, sometimes I respond to Wesley Snipes' insane tweets because sometimes he likes them, and I'm like, that's cool. Wesley Snipes like that one.
No, that's true. That's one that I'm for sure. Like, Matt Bomer liked one of my comments on Twitter one time, and I was like, he knows who I am. And he doesn't. He doesn't remember me.
I get it. Christy Swanson responded to me once, and I'm like, what's up, Christy Swanson? And everybody else is like, Christy who?
The second best Buffy.
The best Buffy. One of my other questions, do you think taking selfies is inherently a social problem at the current moment, and is it selfish?
Self. I want there to be a drinking game for this episode where you take a drink every time you say self.
All right, everybody's drunk 5 minutes in. Good to know.
Everybody's hammered. Don't do that, kids.
If you're over 21, go ahead.
If you're over 21, you're situated, you're in your house, you're not driving, do it. But outside of that, do not. Zach, what do you think? Yeah. Do you think it's a problem, and is it selfish?
Yes. Yeah. As soon as the selfie stick was invented, I think we went too far. That's when we lost humanity.
We no longer want to ask people to take our pictures because only we can do it correctly.
Right. Well, we need that camera angle where it looks like we're dangling off the cliff, but really we're just sitting on the playground or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a problem because social media is a problem, I would say, more than the photos themselves. I think if you take away the social media, the photos go away too. because I don't think people are recording selfies for that way 3 years from now they can be like, oh yeah, I was in that restaurant. What was that restaurant?
Thank goodness. I remember that. And you know what? Facebook, when you have those 5 year later ones, are you going to see that cheeseburger and go, wow, I got to make that again? That was so good.
Boy, that sure was a good cheeseburger.
Look at that picture.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I feel so poorly equipped for this conversation because there's so few memories I want to revisit.
Wow, this got really sad.
That was
really
almost worse
fast.
than the death angle.
Yeah.
I got
I have
you.
a lot of photos.
Amanda, what about you? Do you think it's a big social problem, and is it selfish?
It's definitely a big social problem for sure. In terms of selfish, if you're the type of person who is taking photos of themselves continuously and posting with the most ridiculous attention craving little comment statuses or whatever, the captions or whatever.
Can't believe he said that.
Or just something like, oh man, something that's obviously about me and my life, but you should love people that are like this, which has a very direct correlation to who I am. And then it's just, I don't know, stuff like that to try to get people.
Look at all these pictures of me with my kids. Man, I know you don't go play with your kids.
That's an excellent
you barely
point
even talk
too.
to them.
Yeah.
I hate people telling me how sad they are. How
Huh?
about that? When people, post a picture, be like, "Oh, just another day at home." Like, shut up.
Why?
Well, sometimes that is a cry for help, That is
Yeah.
sometimes. I'm not saying always, but I don't rule that one out immediately. Poor Zach. He's just like, done. Stop it. Tell me you want a hug.
He kept his circle very small for a reason, okay?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
got to maintain it somehow.
Often I tell new people in my life, I have a 5-finger limit on friends. So.
And all 5 are taken.
If you take one finger, somebody's got to go.
That's right.
And that's on you.
I don't
bad
have
do
the
you wanna be
emotional strength to deal with more than 5 people at once.
I'm honestly surprised it goes up to 5.
I think we cut off your answers. Is it a social problem?
Definitely a social problem, but in terms of the selfish, I would say that it kind of depends on the type of person that you are. I feel like there are some people who aren't taking photos. They're taking photos with groups of people, with their friends or something, or while they're out with their friends, or of their family members that they really love or something. I think it becomes a problem when you don't know how to go somewhere and not take a picture of yourself, and specifically of yourself. Like my example of being in a restaurant and taking a selfie just of yourself is weird, and it's way more common than it needs to be. Of yourself. Like you're just sitting there across from the person you're not having a conversation with, which is already problem A. And now problem B, you're ignoring them so you can take a picture and like do a duck face or something with a weird filter on. That's cool and everything, but do that at home, like on your couch or something.
I want to point out duck face is never cool. Never.
Well, what if it's a black and white filter, though? Then it's noir duck face.
Suddenly I'm interested.
Suddenly it's Sin City now.
Suddenly I'm kind of in. Yeah. Oh, man, if they would have had Bruce Willis doing a duck face in Sin City, that would have been fantastic.
Some of those filters are fun. They've had a Breaking Bad one that was a lot of fun. And Westworld.
To answer my own question, I do think it's a social problem. Again, far too often anymore, it interferes with other people's enjoyment. And I can't stand when people interrupt other people's lives and actually get offended that they're upset about that. That drives me crazy. That's unfortunately, it's a culture thing. It's not like any kind of person or 1 or 2 or 3 types of people. It's everybody. It feels like anytime you go anywhere, somebody's wanting you to just stop your stride, even though you're having a perfectly acceptable conversation with your friend. You got to stop because they're trying to take a picture. No, I keep walking. I really don't care. So if you're so, I refuse to do that thing where, okay, I was here, I was walking. You decided you need to take a picture and you got to be as far back. When there's 100 people, we all got to stop so you can get your shot. I don't think so. So I just keep walking. I don't care. I guess I'll be in your, what's up? I'll be the guy doing photobombing. Yeah.
Yeah. I photobomb a lot at work.
Good.
Almost every single picture.
Good, man. I respect it.
Can I ask you guys something?
No.
Or do you have another question?
I do have one more question.
Okay, ask your question.
You can ask your, I was just kidding.
No, it's okay.
Take a picture while you do it, though.
No, thanks.
With your headphones on. Like, seriously, do it. And then put it on Facebook and be like, ask the question. #Smirk.
Why do you think it's more prominent in America? I feel like I have friends on social media that are international, and almost every single one of them does not post selfies to the extent that Americans do.
Yeah, they go to the mountains and they take pictures of the mountains.
We have mountains in America, too.
Yeah, but we take pictures of ourselves in front of the mountains, and you never actually see the mountain. Hey, there's a hill, I think, behind them, but I can't see it because I'm too busy looking at Marv.
Yeah. But I mean, it seems...
And his new Bears hat.
It seems like it might be more of an America problem than a people and social media problem in some respects, too.
I can't really speak to that. I don't have very many international friends.
You don't have social media too much either, other than Twitter.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to have to go across the world and sample this, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to your question because I live here.
Bye.
Yeah, here's pretty good.
Here's pretty good. I'm going to take a picture of it. Hashtag Smirk in my basement.
Well, as long as you take a picture of it, not of you.
Yeah. I do. I try to do both. I try to mix it up. Hey, here's proof I was there, and here's what there looked like without me in front of it.
On a side note, Smirk in my basement is a really creepy hashtag.
Yeah. Or a sexy one.
Or that.
Yeah. All right. I do have one more question, okay? Could you foresee a situation like the one I described happening in that story?
Yeah, I'm sure that happens all the time.
Wow. You didn't even think about it. You're just like, yeah, well, Becky exists. In fact, Becky, I met her today.
Oh, I'm just, I'm thinking of the big city living up here in Chicago and just how much, everybody ignores everybody. You know, people do yell and no one bats an eye.
Yeah, so. I'm with Zach 100%. I think it's more, you had brought up somebody, writing a story and reversing it where somebody catches a murderer or helps someone. Mm-hmm. I think that's much more implausible than it is for someone to actually let someone get robbed and just walk past it. I totally see that happening. Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem with phones, though. I think it's a problem with our media and how we make people think it's better to not get involved at all.
That's true.
That's a whole other topic.
It is. Very interesting. So do you think my story was truth or fiction?
God, I
Becky
hope it's fiction.
Sucks. If she's real. I'm going to go with fiction.
Fiction.
True. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, no way.
I'm just kidding. No, it was
He is Becky in the story.
I am Becky. I was obstructing a criminal investigation because I was looking at my hair.
Well, you do look good in a blue dress.
I appreciate that. I've been working out.
What's the name of your story?
Selfless. Take a shot.
Yeah, self. There it is.
There it is.
No one made it this far in the episode.
I was going to say
passed out already.
We should change our intro.
You started the drinking game halfway through. Yeah. So they actually had to start the episode.
Still didn't make it.
All over.
Still didn't make it.
Well, as our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. I know we've got one coming up in the next few weeks. Thanks for listening. Join the conversation by visiting our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter @SmirkPodcast. Be sure to use the show's hashtag #SmirkInMyBasement. No, just Smirk. Smirk's fine.
Hashtag Smirk in my basement. You should definitely do that one. Add them both.
Take a selfie of you in your basement with your hostage tied up in the background. Hashtag Smirk in the basement.
And then just tag the FBI.
Why do you want a suit so bad? Why are you advocating such horrible things?
He's trying to catch criminals.
Hey, yes, that's what it was. Them. It definitely wasn't. Hey, if a serial killer listens to our show, it's great. I'm glad we reach all audiences.
Don't miss it. I don't know how to respond to that. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe to Smirk in your podcast app of choice. Check out our website at smirkpodcast.com. And as you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk in the basement.
I hope they play our podcast in prisons.
I hope they do too.
And I hope they take a picture while they're doing it. Check it out, listening to Smirk. Hashtag doing life.
Hashtag Smirk in prison.
Hashtag smirking for life.
Smirking for life. I like that better.
Yeah.